All right, we're going to let it populate in. Chris Taylor's with me. I am David Nuño. A&M falls 31-28 to Ole Miss. Their fourth straight loss. Angry that Conor Wigman didn't start earlier this season. I think we all are. Happy that they have their quarterback without a doubt. And by the way, a message to every adult out there. Don't talk to my kids or my players. Don't do that. That's not cool. But hey, you get the victory. It is the TexAgs postgame wrap. I am David Nuño. This is brought to you by Higginbotham Insurance. You probably only think about insurance when you need it, but at Higginbotham, they think about your risks for you because they want you covered all year long. They start by listening and end with a custom solution that fits your needs and your budget. They do it all: car, home, health, business, employee insurance. Higginbotham's got you covered. Higginbotham is a place that leads with value so that your value leads. Call Tyler Smith up at 979-871-3162 or visit higginbotham.com. CT, before I get into the recap, give me a 15-second thought of what went down this afternoon or this evening.
I think the biggest thing is our inability to get off the field on third down. I think that's the difference of the game. You can't stop them on third down. We're giving up big runs. We give up almost 400 yards of rushing. You can't do that and win in the SEC. So,
yep, you're exactly right there. By the way, Brandon Leone will be joining us here momentarily. Let's kind of go through what happened in the game, then we'll start breaking it all down here. Another game where A&M, at least on the defensive side, was not ready to go to begin this game. Started just as bad as last week, but it felt a little bit worse because they ran it down your throats. This wasn't a special teams touchdown. They ran the all over A&M, and the Aggies started off with a three-man front in that game, and they thrashed them for huge runs. A touchdown by Dayton Wade, 7-0 Ole Miss. Luckily, the legend of Conor Wigman does begin in this one. Up-tempo was the case. Some nice Devon A-chain runs. Then Wiggs there to Max Wright for 31 yards. Sets up a 4th and 1. They have to call a timeout, unfortunately. Wiggy to Moose, touchdown, 7-7. The game is tied. Probably the best opening drive of the entire year. No probably to it. It was the best opening drive of the year. After stop, more Wiggy. You blitz him. He burns you. A pass to Donovan Green. And then a one-handed catch by Evan Stewart. A&M is up 14-7. 2 first-quarter touchdowns. That was great. In the middle, not so great. In that quarter, Wiggy was 6 of 6, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. They had 143 yards total offense. Ole Miss did rush for 125 yards in that first quarter. By the way, the game against Appalachian State as a team, the Aggies only had 185 yards. So that was unfortunately, I wish that he would have started then. How about that? In the second quarter, A&M's defense appears to stop Ole Miss on back-to-back 3-and-outs. But then the fake punt destroyed any vibe there. Deep in A&M territory. On the 15, they convert. They drive the length of the field, kick a field goal, 14-10. A&M is leading this one. At the half, though, 239 yards of offense for Ole Miss, 235 for A&M. A-chain, 124 yards rushing. Ole Miss with 195 yards rushing. Conor Wigman, 10 of 12, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Second half, after an A&M punt to start the second half, Ole Miss converts on 3 straight third downs. One off a Jackson Dart scramble to pick up 12, and then back-to-back pass interferences on third down. Then sets up a 56-yard pass inside the 5-yard line. They hold them again. Let me repeat. They hold them again. Unfortunately, there's a face mask. Then it's going to set up a touchdown. Ole Miss goes up 17-14. I really think that was the turning point in the game. More third down issues. Zach Evans eating them up alive in the third quarter. Jackson Dart showing his legs as well. Touchdown 24-14. 8 plays, 85 yards on that drive. In the third quarter, Ole Miss converted every single third down conversion that they had. A-chain only runs for 7 yards in that quarter after really eating them up in the entire first half. Wiggy starts hitting Evan Stewart there in the fourth quarter. 1 for 38 yards inside the 2 plays later. Later, it's Wiggy to Noah Thomas for the touchdown, 24-21. That didn't last long, though, because Judkins with a 61-yard run would set up a score 2 plays later, 31-21. So Conor's going to say, all right, let's do this, guys. Leads them down the field again, a touchdown to A-chain, 31-28. They'd get the ball one more time, but 4 and out as Conor tries to hit Blake Smith there on a 4th down. No dice. The Ags fall 31-28. A&M ran the ball 9 times for 27 yards in the second half. Conor Wigman, 338 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. CT, let's go through some of these stats from Ole Miss because they ran. We've talked about the issues stopping the run all year long. They ran all over A&M. Quinshawn Jenkins, 205 yards rushing. Jackson Dart killed them, especially on third downs. 95 yards. Come on in, Brandon. 8 attempts for 75 yards for Zach Evans. They ran all over the Aggie defense, 390 yards. Welcome to the show. All right, I'll let you react to that. I'll get some opening thoughts there from Brandon.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're not going to win any games giving up almost 400 yards rushing. I mean, let alone to a team that's is dynamic as Mississippi can be on offense. We know what they bring to the table, but to allow that much rushing, to allow that many rushing yards, you just can't win. You can't win a football game doing that. And it's unfortunate because we had some things going in the first half where, A-Chain's running. He's in a good rhythm. It's setting up the play action. Wigman, he's getting the ball out and he's getting it out on time. And then we get away from that in the third quarter. For whatever reason, we didn't continue that strategy. And to have 27 yards rushing when you have a player in the backfield like A-Chain that can be a game breaker and can bust any play at any time, it's unfortunate. And so I thought that, Ole Miss came in, they had a game plan, they were going to run the football, and they stuck to that game plan. And you see they had 3 players that really they beat us up on the ground. We couldn't get off the field on third down. We couldn't wrap up. We couldn't tackle. Then when we do get off the field, we have penalties that extend drives. And plain and simple, you cannot win football games if you can't control the line of scrimmage. You can't stop them from running the football, and then we get away from our run game. So it was unfortunate because you're in the game the whole game, and you let the second half get away from you. And that's just, things you've got to go back to the drawing board and get cleaned up and get ready for next week. So it is unfortunate that we gave up that many rushing yards.
Brandon, I hope you didn't run to studio.
I did.
No, you didn't have to run.
Well, I was on George Bush, and I called Dalton with my text weren't going through. He's like, "Hey, we're live, bro." I was like, "Okay, I'm coming."
Yeah.
So I'm out of breath. I'm old and out of shape.
Well, we'll start things off with where CT was. They could not stop the run, man.
Yeah.
They just could not, especially on third down.
Yeah, I think CT just hit it on the head, and that's literally what I was thinking on the way here is 390-something yards rushing. I don't know if I've ever seen a team, win a football game after that, because that's clock. That's time on the field. They're just eating up everything. You just control so much if you can control the line of scrimmage in the run game. And so the fact that we weren't able to get off the field, I was surprised at the lack of it. And I don't know if it was because Cooper wasn't in there very much or if he wasn't healthy, but the fact we didn't spy the quarterback, that quarterback,
he ran all over him.
He ran all over us. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm looking at him, I'm looking at 15. I know 15 is a better athlete than him, but for whatever reason, they gutted us on that. And I don't know. There's so many injuries. There's so much depth stuff going on the defensive side of the ball. I'm sure that had something to do with it, but you got to find a way to get that guy down. That drive in the third quarter where it was like 3rd and 11 penalty, 3rd and something penalty, face mask down there penalty. You said it. You can't get off the field on third down, 3rd and long. It's tough to win like that. And so mmany opportunities. Again, we talked about it all year long. It's just missed opportunities, man.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and we'll get more into it, but 15 is just a different guy.
Let's talk about that, because I think that's what makes me angry.
Yeah.
And also excited, because there's both. The angry part is I was told before the season started by several people who followed him in high school, this guy can start today.
Mm-hmm.
This guy can start today. I was told at spring he looked great. He can start. If he starts all season long, I don't know if he started today, they lost. But are they a 6-win team?
I'd love to hear CT's thoughts because he's much more dynamic on the offensive side than I am. But I'll tell you this, he was making throws that I haven't seen a quarterback make since number 2.
Mm-hmm.
He was confident.
Mm-hmm.
He had a little bit of swagger to him. It just looked different. And I don't know. It's so hard to tell, especially fresh. We're just going. We haven't watched film. We haven't broken it down. Watching him on the field, I don't know if Jimbo called the game differently or if 15 was just executing that much better. It's hard to tell right off the cusp, but here's what I'll tell you. We're a different football team with that dude behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And that's with 3 starters down on the offensive line. That's with so many injuries and so many things. And it's wait, what? This dude's been in the stable all year long. It's like parking that Ferrari in the garage all year and you're driving the Honda Accord to work every day. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with Honda Accords. I drove a Hyundai for a long time. A Sonata, baby. Good gas mileage. But that dude's a different player. He's a different quarterback.
So if I would have told you, CT, before the game, you're going to get 338 yards passing from Conor Wigman, He's going to throw for 4 touchdowns, and A-Chain's going to go for 138. Would they have lost this game?
No.
So the loss is on the defense.
For the first time, though, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's the thing, again, right, CT?
Yeah.
It's just that consistency.
Yep.
It's just putting it all together. It's like we haven't had the opportunity. We've had the opportunity. We just haven't done it. In this game at home with Kyle Field, offense finally steps up, and then the defense,
But by the way, about the offense, as much as it stepped up, it still felt like they were only going to score 14 points for a while, right?
Absolutely.
For that amount of offense, you should have more points.
Well, CT, touch on this. The third quarter, it looked like a different offense. We came out, and it was like, wait, we went away from what we did in the first half.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but it looked like it.
No, and that's the sense I got. And something, sitting here watching the game with Bronny, the thing that he did point out, when Wigman hits that back foot, ball is gone. He's not sitting back there. He's holding it. He's trying to read. He's going through first read, second read, ball is coming out. That timing there, he was getting the ball into his playmakers' hands and letting them go and create plays for him. But then when you have number 6 going the way that he was going the first half, and then we go away from it, you just scratch your head because you don't know, what adjustments are we making at halftime to really put ourselves in a position to be, to give ourselves a chance to win. And then, for us to go in and come out and then the second half have 27 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, what are those adjustments? What are we doing to change the game from the first half? I thought Wigman played well. I think he's the future. It's bright,
right?
Super bright. And again, to your point, where has he been the whole season? And I get you giving Haynes a chance, you giving Max a chance. But if 15 is your best player, and I believe that all the way around. I mean, you've got Stewart, you've got Moose, you've got Noah Thomas made his first catch, tonight. You've got those guys. If they're your best players, then get them on the field. It's time to get them on the field, give them opportunities, and see how dynamic this offense can be, and get those playmakers, get the ball in their hands quickly, and let them go and make those plays for you, and not have to try to stretch the field by taking those deep dropbacks.
There was a moment. I mean, many of us over the last 10 days have probably been thinking, I don't know if this team's going to get bowl eligible. I still don't know. I like their chances now, though, because I mean, LSU looks really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that'll be potentially Conor's 4th start, or 5th start, I should say, right? 5th start. That would be his 5th start. So, can you beat Florida next week with this guy? I think offensively you can move the ball on them for sure now, right?
Yes.
And that should start something. Unfortunately, they just couldn't stop the run today.
Well, you gotta keep guys healthy. It's really, injuries aren't an excuse, and I've been very adamant about that because we're year 5 in this thing, and this team has built this roster. Injuries aren't an excuse, but man, I feel so bad for those guys. This team they've faced so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. I mean, I saw guys coming in today. I was like, who's that? Like, 19, and I think he finally just got healthy at Killebrew, the talented young DB. He was in there today because Chappelle went down. I mean, it's just like, God, get healthy, get guys back from suspension, like get everybody back together, rally. I agree with you. I do believe this team can win out. I do believe they can make a bowl game. I think Conor just showed you tonight what this offense can do.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get healthy back on defense on the front 7, get Cooper healthy, get White healthy, get the D lineman back, adjust, and just try to move forward, man. But yeah, this one hurt, man. I mean, this was a tough loss. Jimbo Fisher says Conor will be the starting quarterback. I mean, that should have been a no-brainer, but it's good to see that quote. That's good to see that quote.
And I mean, think about the defensive side of the ball. We talk about injuries. Think about if you get Antonio Johnson back healthy. Bryce Anderson is playing out of his mind right now. And I mean, you can do so many things on that back end with those two guys. And I mean, it's crazy to say that about a freshman, but I think Bryce Anderson, the way that he's always around the football, he's put himself in the conversation to get a lot more reps, a lot more playing time, because he just makes plays when he's out there on the field, and he's always around the football.
Daniel Ford talking about winning out after their 4th consecutive loss. Yeah, it's embarrassing. They shouldn't lose 4 straight games. All these games have come down to a possession or 2. Mm-hmm. This is the first time that I think that they lost the game because the other team, you couldn't stop what they were doing.
Yeah.
You could not stop Ole Miss's attack.
Yeah.
But it's the first time all season long that you had an offense, a legit offense, passing and running.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think with what you see at the schedule at the end of it, that's why you think, can you find 3 more wins, which is embarrassing to say from a team that you expected to win 10.
Yes.
No, yeah, it is. But here's the thing, I'm sitting there tonight in the third quarter. I'm sitting with my wife and some friends of ours, And I'm like, I'm counting play. I'm like Bryce Anderson, Jacoby Matthews. I'm looking at Overton. I'm looking at Nolan. I'm looking at Stewart. I'm like, we have 5, 6 true freshmen, very, very talented players. But let's be real. These are kids.
Yes.
I mean, these are young men, very talented. But we're trying to stop a very dynamic, experience-filled offense with a phenomenal play caller. As much as I cannot stand him, and I cannot stand losing to him, Lane Kiffin, man, he was dialed in today. And they leaned on their run game and they gutted us. But man, we had so many kids on defense tonight. Yeah. It's hard to win in the SEC West with 6 true freshmen playing 75% of the time on defense. It's just tough.
Yep. Bigelow brings up the fact that Florida is a running offense, and that's true. Anthony Richardson can run on you, so that is something you're gonna have to prepare for. I'm not blaming this loss at all on the officiating. Please don't mistake what I'm saying. But that was some pretty bad officiating today.
It was bad. That one drive alone was really, really frustrating. That where it was 3rd and down, 3rd and whatever. Those 2 pass interference penalties were about as weak as it could get. And then to not call it on that play with Moose, I know the throw was a little bit behind him, but he's got his hand around his neck, spinning him around before the ball's there. I mean,
what about on the run from Zach Evans? They couldn't.
I know. We're
gonna put it over here. What?
SEC officiating's horrible, but you're right though, Nuño. We're not gonna be those guys. Like we took an L tonight. That's all there is to it. At home, 400 rushing yards.
You give up 400.
You're not gonna get the dub. It doesn't matter how many yards you put on offense. If you give up 400 rushing yards, you're just. And again, this team has shown potential on both sides of the ball. I've been pretty critical about the offense all year in my articles on the post game. They did enough, I think, tonight, minus a little bit of that 3rd quarter to win. And it was the defense's night to have a tough one.
A couple other positives to look at, because again, the negatives are the 3rd quarter was a stinker, and the defense atrocious stop in the run. Some of the positives, I feel like every week we have an Evan Stewart highlight tape. Like every week he's making a play or two that you can get excited about.
But I mean, you have Evan, and that guy is a phenomenal talent. But you have other guys that are stepping up, making plays now. You got Donovan Green. He's making a few plays from tight end. Musain Muhammad. He's having, he's coming into his own. If we can pull our head out of our behinds, I'll say it that way, and guys stay out of trouble, and you think about the receiver core that you put around 15 and what this offense can be, it is scary to think about. But we've got to stop doing dumb things. We've got to make the plays that we're supposed to, and then make a few of them that we're not supposed to. So the talent that we have that can go around 15 is endless, and you can just run guys in and have you can have an offense that nobody in the country really is going to be able to stop. So we've just got to stop inflicting wounds, to ourselves, make sure that we're doing the right things as a football team, and guys need to hold each other accountable. I think that's the biggest thing. Who are your leaders in the locker room? Let's hold these guys accountable. And then you'll start to see all those things start to fall into place and this team start to click.
You look at all these games that they've lost, and they've lost many because of dumb plays here, false starts there, just ridiculous plays. Today, there's a couple plays you'd like to get back. Fathery, the false start. Wiggs a couple times falls, when he might have picked up 5, 6, maybe 10 yards on a couple of those when you're driving and potentially putting points up. There was a bunch of those plays, but I think that is the theme of a team that doesn't win games. You can point at 2 or 3 plays each game, like, oh man, if you just don't make that mistake, it's a different every game.
Every game comes down to 3, 4 plays, and that's just coaches have been saying that for years, and it's why doing your 1/11th and taking your responsibility on every single play is so important, because the games truly do come down to 3, 4 plays, and it could be a special teams miscue, it could be a penalty on offense or defense. You got to always take responsibility for what you've been coached to do, not try to overdo it, not try to play outside of the system. You want to make plays, but the game comes down to that, Nuño. And that's kind of, to me, been the story of this year, is those 3, 4, 5 plays. We've made enough mistakes. There's enough inexperience and injuries that every single game we've been there in a couple plays, and it just gets away from you. And you get too far behind, or you dig yourself too deep of a hole. It's hard to climb out of it. And man, the team can do it, man. I know they can, but this is, no one expected to be here.
But think about it. Even the mistakes that this team has made throughout, and today was not a mistake-ridden game, by the way. Today, Ole Miss ran it down your freaking throats, right? They did. And unfortunately, you helped them and I'm not putting it on the officials. You helped them on one particular drive where they made every third down ever. Like, third down and 15, sure, why not? Here's a first down. Like, but you can look at. I mean, how many games can you look at that one or like the last play of the game? Basically, you have a chance to win.
Yeah, you look at this game, and they muff a punt, they get it back. We can't get our hands on it. We commit 3 penalties on third down. We can't get off the field. We give up a fake punt on their own, 17.
Yeah.
We don't get off the field on that one. End of the first half, we have a chance to go in and extend our lead and then come out the second half, have the football, go down and score again. But then at the end of the game, as bad and as poorly as you've played on defense, you have a chance to go win the freaking game on the last drive of the game. So we're not that far off. And I want people to understand, we're not sitting here and we're killing them. Yeah, nobody likes losing 4 in a row at all.
Absolutely not.
But we're not far off. We just have to learn how to make those plays when they come. And that's what I mean by make the plays that we're supposed to. But then you have to make a few of those plays that you're not supposed to. And I think those things are the difference in sitting at 8-1 like Ole Miss is and sitting at 3-5 like we are right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. Al Pacino, game of inches, right?
It is a
Any
game of
given
inches.
Sunday.
And it's also a game of like today's the first time that I looked at the offensive line and I didn't think that they were a huge problem. They weren't great.
No.
But I think that a lot of it has to do with the quarterback you have there making decisions to where if you have a guy who's processing too much information at once, a bad offensive line is going to get him exposed. Today, they may, I think, Cam Dewberry looked really good, by the way. They were running effectively on his side. But you had a quarterback making decisions really quick, which sometimes he got hit, but it didn't feel like they were the issue all game long.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so hard. That's why I wish sometimes we could come back 3 days later, all watch the game again and redo this show. I wonder if we need to give Jimbo credit if he called the game today to where it was make your 1-2 reads and get rid of the ball. Because that was my thing coming into this game. If you know your O-line's down, you got a young, inexperienced quarterback, give him 1-2 reads and get rid of it. One thing I really can't figure out, I don't know if our guys are coached, going back to Mond, if we're coached to stay back there and not take what they give us, but these other teams that we play against the quarterback seems to look and just go. And I know Conor has enough athleticism to just go and take 5 to 7 to 10 yards.
It's been coached out of those guys.
I think it's being coached out. I don't want to blame if that's not the deal, but it seems like we need to release that portion of the playbook or change that if that's what it is. Because I do think there's a lot of
chapter 48. Get rid of it. Get rid of the whole chapter.
Delete it. Right. Take that out and let the guys run and take what's there. Because I think there's yards to be had on the scramble. He did fall a few times when it seemed like he was going to, but I just feel like that's a part of our offense we could take advantage of, the open middle of the field.
And that's what I've said. I want to see more of the naked. I want to see more of the screen game. Now can we block it up? That's to be determined. However, what I did see from Conor, like I said, he hit that back foot, ball's coming out. The one that he was floating back and he threw that one to Moose down the sideline. He threw that before he ever came out of his break. He understood where the pressure was coming from. He got it out of his hand. So you got a guy that understands and can read the defense. Now, what can you put on his plate? Give him some more. Make this offense to where, on first down, you may have 4 wide receivers. Then second down, now you come out with 3 tight ends. You can do so many different things when you have a guy under center who knows what he's looking at, knows what the defense is trying to do to you, and then getting you and checking into the right place. So I think the future is bright. And I'm happy Jimbo has announced that everything is, now we know who we have moving forward. We're not trying to figure out who's going to be playing quarterback. Now put the playmakers around him and let's go and let's start scoring a lot of points on offense.
Go watch, everybody, if you get a chance. And I know a lot of us are going to rewatch the game this week or tonight if you can't sleep like me. Go watch that last drive where we scored, to make it 31-28. When we hit Moose so many times. I think it was the second throw he hit to Moose, and it was a deep post, maybe. He threw the ball before Moose came out of his route. And I literally was sitting there, I looked at my wife, I was like, see, that's a quarterback.
That's
The ball was out before Moose even broke. Moose looked up, was like, oh, snap, soup, it's right on me. And those are the throws that I don't know, like you said, I think it's just 15's just a guy. He's just a guy. And he needs to be let loose at this point. You got nothing left to lose. Let the dude just go. Right? I mean, at this point, we're 3-5. It's time. Open it up. Let the guy go. Surround him with Stewart, Thomas, Green. Just go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Final thoughts, because we've been going for over 20 minutes now. Let's give some final thoughts on what needs to happen the rest of the way.
For me, scrap the playbook of what it is right now. Put it where Conor has every play that he's comfortable with, and let's open this offense up and go. Defensively, stay out of that 3-man front. Drives me nuts when I see it. First drive, we were in 3-man front. Ole Miss kept us in it. We couldn't sub, couldn't get anybody in. Stay out of the 3-man front. I think we need to add some more pressures. We were very vanilla on defense tonight. I thought we only brought 4. We didn't add that extra person in. So I think we got to be more aggressive. I think we have the guys on the back end that can hold up back there and make the plays. That's if Chappelle is healthy and he's okay. But it's time to. What do we have to lose? Let's start being aggressive, taking some more chances, getting after some people, and making some pads pop. I think these games are winnable down the stretch, but only if we go and we play our game and not let the other team dictate what we're going to do.
I think the drive in the fourth quarter where we scored to make it 31-28 showed. I love that we got the run game going early on in the first half, but I really think we need to open it up. I think it's give us some 11 personnel, some 10 personnel, keep 18 out there. Stewart, Moose, 18, A-Chain, and whoever else you want that fifth guy to be on offense. Get rid of the ball quick. Let Conor make a read or two and get loose. I think that I know Durkin loves the 3-3-5 game, but I think what you really need to do, in my opinion, is keep the 4-man front. We're really thin at linebacker. We're just not staffed to be a team. Like, our roster's just not built right now to have. If you had Hill here right now coming in campus and Cooper was healthy and Andre White was healthy, Russell's done well, Tyrion Lee is hurt now. We need those 4. Our most talented unit on the team is our D-line. Keep as many of those guys on the field as possible.
The thing about the 3-man front, it's what it means now, more than if it's effective or not. I just see it, and I think it's a disaster. And I know that there are times to use a 3-man front, but they have used it up so much that I don't want to see it. It just gross to me right now.
And tonight removes any thought in my mind of, you got to have bigger guys control the line of scrimmage. Even if what you said is key, CT. If we're healthy, we have the guys on the back end to play with more D linemen than less.
But again, though, we say that so much this year. If this, if that, they're just not good. That's at the end of the day. Hey, do we see reasons that they could be good? Absolutely, but they're just not right now. Obviously, you lose 4 straight, you're not a good football team.
Ton of potential.
It's consistency. It's consistency. One unit has a great game, the other 2 don't. One unit, we just have to put it all together. And we're pretty late in the season. It seems like that might not be the case, but I really do believe they could do it. We have the schedule favors us. We just got to go execute.
Hey,
I said that word. I hate hearing that word.
Got to execute.
Here's the moral victory. They got their quarterback.
Yeah.
And that will fix so many problems. You got to keep this kid happy and keep the players around him happy, right?
The narrative has to be keep what you have. And 15 being what he did tonight, Moose getting fed, Green getting fed, Stewart getting fed, that's the move.
You have the nucleus around 15. Absolutely. I think those guys, we're good on those guys, but now we've got to find the right 5 up front, and they've got to stay healthy. I mean, we've had musical chairs up front, starting different offensive linemen. If we can get healthy up front, get some guys, get that unit.
Had he started playing, guys, and I'm not even saying starting, just started playing week 2, week 3, and got some of those, some of the nervous energy out early on.
Bro, it'd be a different season. Yeah. Mizzou beat South Carolina today, bro, in South Carolina. I mean,
they can't handle success.
A&M can lose to anybody and can almost beat anybody. That's where they are. They can lose to anybody and they can almost beat the best teams in football.
Yeah. Hearts are hurting, bro. We got to go win some games. Yeah. We got to go win some games.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Good to be in here with you boys.
That's going to do it for the TexAgs post-game wrap. A&M does fall 31-28. Luchador tomorrow. Unfortunately, no mask for that one with Billy, but we'll be talking about Conor and what the rest of the season is going to look like. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.